Father Tyler always says that growing in your faith is not about finding answers to your questions. It's about learning to ask better questions. I've always been a Christian. I grew up in the Bible Fellowship, which is a very Protestant church. Most recently, I found the Episcopal Church as a place to learn about and express my faith. Even though both of these churches claim the same title of Christianity and the same God, there's actually a lot of differences between them. The Bible Fellowship is a Unitarian church, so they view God as the only creator of heaven and earth, and they view Jesus as a man. The Episcopal Church believes in the Trinity, where God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are all 3 in 1 and 1 in 3 all at once. To me, both have strong and weak points. Both cannot be proven. How should I be able to pick between the two? How will my parents react when I tell them that I want to believe the opposite of one of their core beliefs? Will I still be welcomed in the Bible Fellowship if I don't agree with them? Does my identity as a Christian entitle me and obligate me to get and give love from other Christians? Or does denomination determine that obligation? We are all, supposedly, children of God. We are all, supposedly, supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves. This seems like a simple commandment. It's a 5-word request. But it is still so hard sometimes. How can I keep out mean thoughts, feelings, and energy for people all the time? Do other people struggle with this as much as I do? Everything in England is really old, and I don't mean America old, I mean Europe old. The University of Cambridge is close to 3 times the age of the United States of America. It was hard to comprehend just how many feet had walked the same streets that I was on. Did the people who established a small trading town realize it was going to be a huge tourist attraction? A town with a world-renowned university? A place where 120,000 people live? Did they even know the world's population would one day amount to 120,000 people? If they couldn't predict thus, how are we supposed to say with any sort of certainty what the world will look like in 1,000 or more years?
His Anglican predecessor, Cranmer, had of course been burnt at the stake.
I still haven't been able to understand how people felt justified in using the books that I see as the reason for love and peace as a reason to kill other people. Religious warfare is the epitome of an oxymoron, yet it has happened again and again and again. Do I really want to uphold a belief others use as a reason to kill one another? When I confess my sins, and I pray, Most merciful God, we confess that we have sinned against you, in thought, word, and deed, by what we have done and by what we have left undone. What do I really mean? If you say that prayer, what do you really mean? Do you list off all the things that you've actually left undone? If you confess something as a sin, are you acknowledging that you won't do it again? Or at least try not to do it again? There are a lot of things that the Bible warns against, but that we indulge in all the time. Am I a hypocrite and a liar if I, air quotes, confess something, knowing that I'll do it again? I talked to a man who was playing music on the streets outside of Canterbury Cathedral. We chatted about the difference between the US and the UK for a bit. He sang me a song. I gave him a few pounds. A few other people who had been listening walked away without putting money in his guitar case. He said, "Those people will pay £9 to go into that church over there and look around, but they won't give me pennies." Why do we preach one thing and do another? How do Christians today act on God's will to love your neighbor as yourself? Is it my job to tell other Christians to get their act together and tell them how they should be better Christians? Or is that just perpetuating the issues of preaching without practice? If I humbly practice good works, as God instructs me to do, will enough people realize it's me, a Christian, who did them? Will this be enough to untarnish the name of Christians and save our increasingly negative public reputation? What if this whole Christianity thing was just made up by a guy who thought it'd be a funny prank?